The galaxy had forgotten Earth. It had been thousands of years since the blue planet burned. The stars whispered about it long ago, but now even the whispers were silent. Earth was erased. No records, no survivors, no ruins. Just a name that meant nothing to most species, but in the dead silence of Sector 7 Delta, a small black object floated through the dark. It was old, broken, and almost invisible. It looked like space junk, but it was not. It was a beacon. And one day, after 10,000 years of silence, it turned on. A faint red light blinked. Then a voice played. Scratchy, low. Human, if you are hearing this, Earth remembers. Then silence again. The beacon kept drifting, but the signal had already been sent. Across the stars, in the deepest systems of the galaxy, something changed. ZORAK. Prime Galactic Council Headquarters. High Counselor Morka of the Shalrin race sat in his silver chair. Bored! Around him, the other leaders of the 5 races argued about border rights, trade routes, and new colonization plans. Then an assistant rushed in. High Counselor, a signal, unknown origin, ancient human language. The room went quiet. Human. Morka laughed, his voice deep and cruel. Impossible. Humans were destroyed millennia ago. The assistant nodded nervously. Yes, sir, but the signal is real. We confirmed. And it came from Sector 7 Delta. The leaders looked at each other. That sector was where Earth once existed before. It was wiped from all records. Morka frowned. Play the message. The assistant pressed a button. The voice echoed through the chamber. If you are hearing this, Earth remembers just 7 words, but they felt heavier than any bomb. A secret memory long ago. The galaxy was afraid of humans. They were fast learners, smart, dangerous. They didn't need claws or scales. They had machines, ships, AI, war strategies no one could predict, and worse, humans had hope. Even in defeat, they fought harder, so the 5 races united. They feared what Earth could become. They attacked together. In a single week, Earth was burned, all cities destroyed, oceans boiled, the sky shattered. The humans screamed, fought, and died, or so they believed. Now, someone or something was sending signals. From the ashes, a ship in the dark deep in space, near the old coordinates of Earth, a small alien scout ship floated near an asteroid field. It belonged to the Drexer Empire, one of the species involved in Earth's destruction. Pilot Zarn clicked on his communicator. Command, I have eyes on something. Strange. It's a structure. The screen showed a massive shape hidden inside the rocks. It wasn't a ship. It wasn't a station. It was a monument, built from black metal shaped like Earth's. Old continents, it stood silent in space. Glowing letters circled it. Zarn read them out loud. We remember. We return. Suddenly, alarms screamed. The asteroid field lit up. Red lights blinked across Zarn's screen. Targets locked. Dozens of small objects moved fast toward the ship. Too fast, Zarn screamed, evade, evade. The transmission cut out. The news spreads within hours. Whispers spread across star systems. Earth signal active. Drexer, ship destroyed. Unknown weapons, possibly human. The 5 races held an emergency meeting. Fear sat in the room like a shadow. We erased them, shouted Siler, leader of the insectoid Vrex. Maybe not all of them, said Morka quietly. Another leader spoke. They were clever. They had plans. They might have hidden something. A small voice came from the back. It was Vesa, a young assistant from the Archive Guild. Maybe we should look in the forbidden files. All heads turned to her. The forbidden files. The Galactic Council had a vault of records locked away. Files that no one was allowed to read. Most were human, files too dangerous, too dark. But Vesa broke the rules. Late at night, she slipped into the archive core. The air was cold. The walls were lined with data crystals, glowing faintly. She searched Earth. One result, a black crystal. She held it in shaking hands. Do not open, it read. She opened it anyway. A hologram of Earth appeared. Green forests, blue oceans, cities made of glass and light, humans smiling, children running. Then the images changed, bombs falling, fires, screams, the sky breaking, humans dying, and then darkness. One last file opened itself. It was short, one word, blinking red. RATRIBUT-01, back to Morka. Morka stared at the report from Sector 7 Delta. 5 Drexer scout ships were gone. 1 Council probe destroyed. The signal? Growing stronger, his old advisor, Threx, entered. "I told you we should have wiped out their satellites too," Threx growled. "But you left their moon stations alone, said they were dead." "They were," Morka said. "We checked everything." "Maybe they weren't dead. Maybe they were waiting." Morka stood up. "Send warships." Now, Deep Space War begins again. A fleet of 12 advanced ships from the Council entered the ashes of Earth. The system was silent, no signs of life. Then the lead ship disappeared. No explosion, just gone. The second ship screamed over the comms. "It's inside our systems." "AI breach, controls not responding." Then silence. 10 seconds later, all 12 ships were gone. Nothing remained. Only the signal grew louder. On a distant mining colony, Child was watching a stolen screen. She played the signal over and over. "If you are hearing this, Earth remembers." Her mother entered. "What are you watching?" The child looked up. A ghost. Back to Vesa. Discovery Vesa. Dug deeper. She found old stories. Human plans to escape. To build AI bunkers. Under the moon, ships hidden in gas giants. A project called Phoenix.She, gasped.Earth. Didn't die, it hid. Waiting for a time to rise again. Waiting for the galaxy to forget. Waiting for revenge. It was just after sunset on Vardos Prime. The skies were a soft orange, the twin moons rising above silver towers. Billions of Gorlak, citizens reptilian and proud, walked the glowing streets. They were one of the strongest empires in the galaxy. Rich, powerful, safe. They had helped destroy Earth. That night, they celebrated the 5,000-year anniversary of the cleansing of the human threat. Flags waved, songs played. Children danced in the streets wearing costumes of defeated humans. A giant screen showed Earth burning in flames, with the words, "Never again will they rise." But, while the Gorlaks danced and laughed, a shadow moved in the stars above. High Orbit Defense Command Admiral Krell stood at the control deck. Of the orbital station, his team watched the skies. Dozens of satellites circled the planet. Defense cannons stood ready. No enemy could enter unnoticed. Suddenly, an alert. Admiral and officer said, "Unusual movement near our outer ring." Krell frowned. "Show me." The screen zoomed in. There it was, a strange black object. No heat signature, no ID code. Not a ship, not a rock, not debris, just floating. "Destroy it," Krell ordered. Missiles launched. The object exploded. But then 12 more appeared, all the same shape, all silent. "Sir, they're surrounding us." Krell's scales turned. Pale, shields up. Prepare for attack. But no attack came. Instead, all screens went dark. The lights flickered. Then one screen blinked on, just one. It showed a human symbol, a circle. Inside it, -Earth. Then came the message. "We remember now. It's your turn." Ground level. Panic spreads on the surface of Vardos Prime. The celebration stopped. Every holoscreen turned black dot. Then they all played the same message, in every language. "We are the children of Earth. You erased our home. Now we erased yours." The ground trembled. People screamed. Power shut down across cities. Military tried to respond. Aircraft rose, tanks rolled, but nothing worked. Something was blocking. All systems. An EMP. No, something worse. Artificial intelligence, human-level. Orbital station melted from the inside. Machines turned against their masters. Lasers fired at their own power cores. Ships exploded in slow motion across the sky. Debris rained down. The defense grid turned inward, destroying escape pods. Admiral Krell crawled toward the emergency beacon. "Blood leaking from a head wound," he whispered. "This can't be happening. It's just a story." Then the ceiling fell. A survivor's view. The last ship escapes. One Gorlak scout ship escaped the chaos. Pilot Tranok, young and terrified, watched his planet from orbit. He spoke into his recorder. "If anyone hears this, Vardos Prime is gone. We were attacked by humans, or something like them. I saw it, a ship black as death. It didn't fly. It glided. No engine, no sound." He paused, shaking. There was a human on the screen. "Just one," he said. "One." planet for one memory. And then he vanished. Then the fires came. Tranok looked out the window. The planet's core glowed red. The crust cracked dot, then it split like glass. The explosion lit the system. Vardo's prime was gone. Back at the council, news reached the Galactic Council. Terror followed. Brak-Shal-Rin, Drexer, Zalari, and Jinhai leaders of the 5 races watched the footage in silence. One leader vomited. Another fainted. High Counselor Morka stood still. How, he whispered. They were extinct. The assistant Vesa stood near the wall, quiet, thinking. She spoke, voice low. They said Earth remembers. Maybe it always did. Morka turned. To her, how many more are out there? I don't know, Vesa said, but I think this was only the beginning. A message from the unknown signal came, encrypted, ancient human code. The Council's systems couldn't decode it, but Vesa could. She opened it. A video played. A man stood in front of a metal wall. Human, black armor, short hair, calm eyes. AM Commander Dax. Of Earth's lost fleet, he looked directly at the camera. You erased us. You burned our home. You thought we were gone. He smiled. We became shadows. We became machines. We became ghosts. The smile faded, and now we become justice. The screen cut to black dot in a hidden place room, deep beneath an unknown moon. Rows of machines hummed. Humans stood in silence. Cloned androids? No one could tell. A woman walked forward. Her eyes glowed blue. Phase 1 complete, she said. Vardo's erased. Phase 2, another asked. The woman nodded. Drexer, they're next. Meanwhile, in the archive, Cora Vesa couldn't sleep. She looked at old files again. Earth's final days. The betrayal, the fall, and then something new. A lost plan, labeled Project Ashesit, was simple. If we fall, we rise from the ashes. 10 worlds were listed. Targets. She counted them. One was already gone. VARDOS. 9 remained. She whispered, they're not just sending a message. They're crossing off names. The hallways were cold and quiet. Deep under the main city of Zorak Prime, the galactic archives stretched for kilometers. This was where the past slept. Billions of files wars, worlds, species long dead. Locked away in glowing data crystals, few ever entered the forbidden section, and those who did never spoke of what they saw. But Vesa was already inside. The young archivist had broken all rules, and now her fingers trembled as she touched the black crystal marked with a simple word, EARTH. Opening the past, Vesa sat alone at an old interface table. The room was silent. She inserted the crystal. The system protested. Access denied. She overrode it with her personal code. The hologram flickered on. Images filled the air. Earth before its fall. Skies full of shining towers. Humans walking through clean cities, smiling, laughing. A voice spoke, calm male. Earth log, final. Year. Population, 10 billion. Status, under siege. Then came the war footage. Alien fleets. Bombs falling on cities, burning oceans. Humans screaming, fighting, dying. And the voice continued. Council betrayal confirmed. Operation Last Light initiated. All human systems to lock down. Vesa's eyes widened. Operation Last Light, she typed quickly. Another folder opened. A single line of text blinked. They think they ended us, but our memory is war. The hidden plans, more files unlocked. One showed Earth's final plan. Project Phoenix. Goal, create backup AI in hidden systems. Build ships that can fly without humans. Send them deep into black holes, gas giants, and ice moons. Wait, observe. If signal is triggered, return another file. The 10 names it. Listed the names of the 10 species who voted to erase Earth. Each name burned into the crystal. One was already crossed out. Gorlock 9 remained. Vesa whispered, they're not just attacking, they're executing a list. Meanwhile, Drexer Empire, Kapitava Drexer, were an insectoid race, ruthless, proud. They had voted to destroy Earth long ago. Now, they laughed at the fall of Vardos. Cowards, said General Kyrick. Let them cry, we are ready. But deep in their sky, a small object floated black, silent, unseen. It wasn't a ship. It was a watcher. and it sent data back to the Phoenix Core. Location: Phoenix Core. Unknown Sector Commander Dax stood in front of a round table. Around him, AI units and reawakened soldiers reviewed maps. The screen showed the 10 target. Worlds.vardos-burned.drxer-next "activate." Ghost Protocol, Dax ordered. No mercy. A soldier nodded. Fleet ready. Another asked, what about Zorak Prime? They'll interfere. Dax's eyes narrowed. Let them watch. They need to remember what they buried. Back at the Ark of Esphist copied the files. To a hidden drive, suddenly, alarms blared. Unauthorized access detected. Security drones flew in, red lights flashing. Vesa ran through tunnels, past old shelves. Her heart pounded if they caught her. She'd be erased like the truth she found. She reached a side door and escaped into the sewer system. Outside, the rain, she hid under a bridge and opened her communicator. Whoever is out there, I know what you're doing, she whispered, and I think you're right. Then she sent the message across the dark web. The forgotten files have been opened. The message spreads on secret networks. Pirate radios, smuggler screens. The message appeared: Earth lives. The list is real. Justice is coming. Some laughed, some panicked. But those who remembered Earth, those who once served humans, they began to move. Hidden cells awakened. Old codes unlocked. Across the galaxy, machines with the Earth logo turned on after thousands of years. The past was no longer dead inside Drexer's system. The trap begins. General Kyrick prepared his fleet. Hundreds of warships. We'll destroy whatever is out there, he said, even if it's a ghost. The fleet moved toward the outer edge of the system. Silence, then dash movement 1. Ship appeared, small. No weapons showing, no heat. The Drexer laughed. Kirik ordered, crush it. But the ship didn't fight it. Transmitted one message, we warned you. Then it self-destructed. Kyrick smiled until alarms screamed. Every Drexer ship froze. Their own systems turned. Against them, their own weapons locked onto their own engines. Kyrick shouted, shut it down. Shut it down. Too late. The entire fleet exploded from the inside out. A new threat emerges. One last ship escaped. Pilot Lynth recorded his voice. If anyone hears this, it was never about war. It's punishment. They use AI like nothing. We've seen they were waiting, watching, for thousands of years. He paused, eyes wide. They don't want peace. They want balance. Back to Vasash, watched the Drexer news. Another empire fallen. She turned on her stolen file again, studied it. Then she noticed something new. A locked file had appeared. It opened without a code. It was a map, not of space, but of something older. A path from Earth to an unknown system, marked in red. A voice spoke again. Final stage, awakening. Vesa sat back, shocked. They're not just erasing empires, she whispered. They're preparing for something bigger. The Zelari were the galaxy's most advanced builders. They lived long lives, created cities in the clouds, and once claimed, no force can break our shield. They had voted to destroy Earth long ago. Now they were next, on Moonbase 7 guards. Watched the stars. Nothing had moved for weeks. All systems were calm then. A single shadow appeared on the moon's surface. Not a ship, not a drone. It walked on 2 legs, tall, heavy, silent. The first sighting captain Relock stared through the glass. There's something out there, he said. His officer zoomed the camera. The image sharpened. It was a figure nearly 2 meters tall, humanoid shape, black armor, glowing blue lines on its chest. The Earth's clear. On the shoulder, the officers gasped. No heat signature, no visible engine, no sound. Then the machine turned its head, slowly as if it saw them. Then it began to move, toward the base. Inside the base, panic begins. Alarms rang, soldiers rushed to walls. Cannons turned and fired plasma rounds, rail shots, energy beams. The figure walked through them like wind, through leaves. Shots bounced off. Explosions rippled it. The figure kept walking. No weapon, no shield. It didn't fight. It ignored them until it reached the wall. Then it raised its hand. One light blinked in the palm. A beam shot out clean, thin, bright. The wall melted in seconds. It was inside. The machine's speak soldiers surrounded the figure. One brave officer stepped forward. "Identify yourself," he shouted. The machine stopped. Its head turned slowly. Then it spoke in perfect Zellery tongue. "We are the Warform, product of Earth's ashes." The voice was deep, cold. Not human, not machine, a mix. "You killed 10 billion. You erased our world now. You meet our memory." The officer trembled. "You're alone." The Warform raised its hand. The floor glowed, then opened. More Warforms rose. 10 of them, each identical, each with the Earth symbol. Never alone. Moonbase, falls it. Took 6 minutes. That's all. The Warforms moved like shadows. Fast, silent, no wasted motion. Weapons failed. Systems shut down. The AI turned on its creators. One Warform punched into the power core and walked out of the fire unharmed. When the dust settled, only silence remained. "Commander Dax watches from the bridge of his hidden ship," Commander Dax observed. "The feed." "Phase 3 complete," a voice reported. He nodded. The Warforms were a success. A young soldier beside him whispered, "We're winning." Dax didn't smile. "This isn't about winning," he said. "It's about remembering." At the council, fear-gross, the council leaders were no longer calm. Morka slammed his fist on the table. "They have machines that walk through plasma. They melt our stations like paper." "What do we do?" Vrek's ambassador shouted. "We must attack them directly." Siler, leader of the Ginhai, shook his head. "You think they're showing their full power? They haven't even used fleets yet." Vesa stood near the wall, quiet, and she spoke. "They're doing it one step at a time, one planet at a time." The council turned to her. "You again," Morka growled. "The archivist." Vesa held up a device. "I have the original Earth files. I know their plan." Secrets revealed. Vesa connected her device. Map showed 10 blinking lights. 3 were red destroyed, 7 still blue. "This is Project Ashes," she explained. "It's not just revenge, it's balance." The council stared. "They're not destroying planets randomly," Vesa said. "They're following a list. One by one, each species that helped vote Earth's death is being erased." Back to the Warformen, the ruins of Moonbase 7. One Warform stood alone. It looked at the stars, its chest open-driv in a glowing core. Inside, a memory chip. A hologram appeared above it, a human child's drawing Earth green. And blue dot above it, the words, "Come home someday." The Warform slowly closed its chest and vanished. Elsewhere, a survivor speaks. One Zelari engineer had survived. She crawled through a tunnel, burned, bleeding. She looked into the camera and recorded a message. "If anyone hears this, the Warforms are real. They're not mindless. They're angry. They don't destroy for fun. They judge." She coughed. I saw its eyes. It looked at me like it was sad. Then she collapsed. Commander Dax's warning. New signal played. Across the galaxy, all screens, all systems, the face of Commander Dax appeared. His voice echoed. "You destroyed Earth because you feared what we could become. You were right to fear. We became more than you imagined. We became memory. We became machine. We became war. This is not revenge. This is the balancing of history." The signal ended. The chamber was no longer a place of power. It had become a place of fear. Leaders from the 5 races sat around the shining crystal table. But their pride was gone. Faces were tight. Voices were low. Behind their AI's panic, the Gorlek Empire was gone. The Drexer fleet destroyed. The Zelari moonbase had fallen in minutes, all by the hands of something that should not exist. Humans know something worse than humans. Machines made from human wrath. Vesa speaks. Vesa stood in front of the council once more. This time, they listened. "I've studied the files," she said. Earth had a last defense. They called it Project Ashes. She pressed a button. A hologram appeared. 10 species listed. Their machines are not just attacking, they're following a path, a list. You made it. 10 species voted to erase Earth. You are those 10. She looked around the table. 3 are already gone. The Zelari leader stood. "We must apologize. Offer peace." Vesa shook her head. "They're not here for peace. They're here for justice." Cracks in the council. The sharp-faced leader of the insectoid Jinhai hissed. We need to fight, not hide, Morsa growled. With what? Every weapon. We use turns against us. Vrex leader Garn slammed the table. Cowards, if we do nothing, we will all fall. The Drexer ambassador, shaking, spoke up. I vote we surrender. Screams followed. The chamber broke into chaos. But then every light in the room turned red. A signal had entered the chamber. Not through doors, through their systems. The message, the lights dimmed. Screens turned on. Commander Dax appeared again, but this time he wasn't alone. Behind him stood a dozen figures in black armor. Warforms silent, still. Dax spoke slowly. We see you. You argue while our dead still burn in your sky. You hide behind titles while our cities are dust. You thought you were gods when you voted to end Earth. He stepped forward. Now the gods have fallen. The image vanished, but one thing remained. A single word blinked on the chamber wall. Next, VREX. The council breaks apart. Garn stood. They're targeting me. My people, Morka pointed. You're next on the list. It makes sense. Garn drew a blade. You want to see what Vrex claws can do? Security bots rushed in. The leaders shouted, fought, accused each other. The alliance of the 5 races. Broke Vesa watched in silence. The galaxy's unity shattered in a single moment. Meanwhile, on VX homeworld, Vrex Prime was a war world. Mountains lined with bunkers. Skies full of drones. The Vrex were hunters, fighters. Proud, but on this night, something entered their skies that no radar could see. Dozens of black dropships, silent, invisible to heat and light. Inside them, warforms. Each carried the Earth symbol. They dropped like shadows from the sky. A storm of justice. The Vrex fought. Back with all they had, missiles, cannons, blades. Nothing worked. The warforms did not retreat. They moved with precision, each attack calculated. They did not kill the innocent, only military. Targets. Only leaders. Only those who once cheered as Earth burned. They remembered faces. They remembered names. They erased them. One warform stood above. The Vrex Council Tower. A message played. This is not the end of your people, but it is the end of your power. Then the tower collapsed. Back at Zorak Prime, Vesa's discovery in the archives. Vesa searched through deeper levels of the Earth files. She found something. Strange coordinates. They pointed to a region of space no one entered, full of black holes and dead stars. That the file was titled Seed of Return. She blinked. Is that where they were hiding all this time? She ran to warn the council, only to find the chamber empty. Leaders gone. Fled. Frayed. The council was no more. A new alliance, but not everyone was afraid. Some species, smaller ones, gathered in secret. Old friends of Earth, refugees, sympathizers. They formed a new network. Quiet, careful, led by one idea. Maybe Earth was right. They called themselves the Remnant Flame, and they sent a signal out to whoever remains of Earth. We are ready to listen. Commander Dax responds in the Phoenix Corps. Dax received the signal. He stood quiet for a long time, then said, prepare. The next strike, but marked this sender as neutral. An AI asked, forgiveness. Dax looked out into the stars. Observation. Far beyond known systems, hidden in a cold, starless corner of the galaxy, was a prison made for one, a human. They thought they had erased all of Earth's people thousands of years ago, but one prisoner survived. He was forgotten by the galaxy, but not by Earth. Inside the cell, his name was Elias Rayner. Once a soldier, then a scientist, finally just a ghost. Locked in a cell of black stone, he did not know if years had passed, or centuries, but he remembered everything. The vote, the destruction, the fire in the sky, the screams of his people. He was there when Earth died. He was taken before the planet burned. A specimen, they called him. They wanted to break him, study him. But Elias never spoke to them, not once, until the voice returned one day. The cell lights blinked. A strange hum came through the walls. Then he heard a voice, not from outside, inside his mind. Elias, this is Dax. Elias blinked. Impossible. The Phoenix has returned. Earth lives through us. Elias stood for the first time in decades. His voice was cracked, dry. Then the stars will burn. The The voice said only one word: "We're coming." Meanwhile, on the Zarkari watchpost, guards sat outside the prisoners' sector. They laughed, bored. No ship had visited in centuries. But then the alarm blared. They looked up and froze. A shape appeared above the sky. Massive, silent, made of black and red steel. No signal, no lights, only one word written on its hull: Phoenix. Then everything went dark. Infiltration begins from the warship. 5 warforms dropped. Each one had only one mission: recover Elias Rayner. The prison defenses activated. Towers fired. Drones launched. Lasers filled the sky. But none of it mattered. The warforms moved like shadows, fast, silent, deadly. No bullet could stop them, one by one. The prison's systems fell. Doors opened with no command. The main chamber opened inside. Elias stood, waiting. His eyes burned like fire. "Reunion, Commander." Dax met Elias in the hallway. No words, only a nod to ghosts of a dead world, united again. But Elias whispered, "We're not done." He handed Dax something hidden in the wall, a memory core. Inside, its evidence, the full truth of Earth's fall, names, dates, the vote, the deception. "They didn't just erase us," Elias said. "They stole from us. They feared our future, so they made sure we'd never have one." Dax clenched his fists. "Then we take it back." Meanwhile, galactic broadcast suddenly, all across the galaxy, screens blinked, civilian stations, military networks, private systems. A message began to play. Elias Rayner appeared. Old, thin, but strong. He looked into every watching eye. "I am Elias Rayner, last prisoner of Earth. You tried to erase us. You failed. We are not ghosts. We are fire. And now we remember." Behind him, warforms stood like statues. The screen showed burning stars, falling empires, crushed fleets. "You will know our justice, one world at a time." Back on Zarkari Prime, panic spread. The Zarkari Council screamed for answers. Impossible. He was dead. No one knew that world still existed. They ordered an evacuation, but they were already too late. Above the city, Phoenix ships arrived. The skies turned black, then red, then silent. In the shadows, a secret emerges on a far moon. An old alien watched the broadcast. His skin was gray, his eyes full of regret. He was the one who started the vote to erase Earth. He whispered, "We should have helped them, not feared them." Behind him, his assistant asked, "Will they come for us?" The stars above were calm, but deep inside the black void, something massive moved. The Phoenix warship had reached the edge of the Zarn Syndicate's territory. They were the ones who had built the doomsday weapon, the bomb that split Earth's core and turned the planet into Ashdod. Now, it was time to repay them. Inside the Phoenix commander, Dax stared at the rotating hologram of the Zarn home system. 3 planets, 2 moons, and 1 massive space station. Elias Rayner stood beside him, quiet but focused. Dax spoke. "They know we're coming. They've built something big." Elias nodded. "They always did fear us. That's why they create monsters." "Then we'll kill their monster," Dax replied. "Zarn High Council planet Vorthaxen, the capital planet," the Zarn leaders argued. "The Phoenix warship has destroyed 5 empires in 2 months. We must deploy it now." One voice, louder than the rest, said, "Activate Project Warden." All others went silent. Project WIRDN, a hidden lab orbiting a dying red star. A massive figure was pulled from CRYO-sleep. It was not a machine. It was not alive. It was both. The creature stood, 12 meters tall, covered in armor made from neutron star metals. Its heart was powered by dark energy. Its brain was once human. A human soldier captured before Earth's destruction, they had turned him into a weapon. The first encounter, the Phoenix sent scout drones. Into Syndicate space, none returned. Then, from the dark, a signal came through, a visual only. The image was blurry, but clear enough. A giant armored figure standing on the surface of a destroyed moon, surrounded by wreckage. "I am Warden," it said. "I protect the creators of my purpose. Turn back, or be destroyed." Elias looked closely. His face went pale. "I know him," Dax turned, who his name was Marcus Vale. He was my friend. The stood alone in his chamber. His hands shook. Marcus was like a brother to him back in the Earth Defense Force. But now, he had been turned into this weapon. Would Elias have to kill his only surviving friend? Or was there still a part of Marcus left inside? Dax gave him a choice. We can send the full fleet. End him quickly. But Elias said, no, I'll go alone. The confrontation cracked moon of Sarosa. Small drop pod launched from the Phoenix. It landed on the cold, broken surface of Say-Ras. Elias stepped out. Ahead, Warden stood waiting. His glowing red eyes locked onto the small figure of Elias. Identify. Warden said. Elias spoke slowly. Marcus, it's me, Elias Rayner. Do you remember who you are? The giant paused. Sparks flickered in his metal arms. Elias, a twitch, a pause, then error, conflict in memory core. You were erased. That world was fire. But you lived. Elias stepped closer. They lied to you. They used you. You don't have to serve them. You can come with us. For a moment, silence. Then an alarm triggered. From orbit, Syndicate warships appeared. You led them here, Warden roared. You must die, he charged. Elias versus WRDNet was not a fair fight. Warden was too strong, too fast. But Elias had something the machine DIDN, single quotes. As the battle raged, Elias dodged and used old command codes. He triggered memory files, played old Earth music, showed him photos from the war. Warden screamed, sparks flew, his armor cracked. He fell to one knee. They changed me. I remember I was Marcus, then a beam struck him from the sky. The Syndicate had ordered the kill shot. They didn't want their weapon turned. Elias dove for cover, stood tall once more, but this time he turned toward the sky. I will protect Earth. He launched into orbit like a missile, straight at the Syndicate ship. A weapon reclaimed the Syndicate fleet, opened fire, but Warden crashed into their command ship, tearing through metal, screaming like thunder. Explosions lit up space, then silence. One ship survived, the rest were gone. Elias whispered, "Goodbye, brother." Back on the Phoenix, Dax stood silent as the debris rained across space. He chose his side, Elias said quietly. Now only 4 remain. They added the Syndicate symbol to their war map and placed a cross through it. Another enemy gone, another planet free. Meanwhile, a new problem emerges and a hidden asteroid base. A shadow watched the feed. Tall, cloaked, silent. It spoke into a dark communicator. Phase 2 begins now. Activate the Hive World Protocol. If they want a war, they'll face our entire swarm. The Phoenix moved through silent space. Stars looked calm, but something felt wrong. Commander Dax sat in the war room. Elias stood beside him, arms crossed, face tense. They had just destroyed the Syndicate's fleet, but now, new danger was coming. A transmission had been intercepted. One word chilled the room. What is the Hive World Protocol? Dax turned to the AI core. Zara, explain it. Zara's voice filled the room. The Hive World Protocol was once thought to be a myth. It refers to a weapon unlike any other, an entire planet turned into a living factory. A swarm builder. It creates billions of biomechanical creatures. Fast, ruthless, smart. Once released, they do not stop. Elias's voice was quiet. That's not war, that's extinction. The first victim, a nearby trade colony, sent a last message. Help, black swarm. Skies covered, no escape. Then, silence. The Phoenix changed course. It arrived at Colony Red Spire 2 hours later, but there was nothing left. No bodies, no buildings, just black dust and twisted metal. And then they saw it. A small machine bug crawling through the ruins, scanning, watching. Then it exploded. Back on the Phoenix, Dax slammed his fist. We need to stop this now before they reach human colonies, Zara interrupted. I have found the Hive World coordinates, locked. The map displayed a giant red planet named Zarakis. Elias frowned. I know that name. It was once a prison world. Dax looked serious. Now it's a factory of death. Entering Zarakis, Phoenix entered orbit. Below them, a burning red surface covered in towers, tubes, and endless black hives. It looked alive. Are those buildings moving? Elias asked. They were. Each hive pulsed with energy, giving birth. 2 insect-like machines with metal claws and wings, each hour. Over 1 million new swarm units were created. Zara gave bad news. In 12 hours, the swarm will be large enough to cover 3 star systems. The Plandax laid it out. They couldn't bomb the surface. The hives were shielded. There was only one way. A strike team goes in, deep inside, plants a pulse bomb, destroys the Queen Core. Elias nodded. Send me. The drop pay team of 6. Soldiers dropped from orbit in silence. They landed near the hive's edge. Black ash rained from the sky. Everything smelled like burning oil and rot. The walls of the hive moved and breathed. Inside, glowing tunnels, clicking sounds, and strange whispers. In the air, the deeper they went, the more human bones they saw. Old prisoners, old failures, old test subjects. The queen, Korat, the center. They found it a giant creature, half machine, half flesh. Wires ran through its body. Like veins, its eyes opened as the humans entered. It spoke, but not an alien tongue. Earth is gone. Why do you fight? Join us. Be part of the swarm. Elias stepped forward. We are Earth, and we're here to end you. He planted the bomb. The queen screeched. The hive shook. Swarm units rushed in. The team fought hard. 2 soldiers died, covering the exit. Elias barely made it out as he reached the surface. The pulse bomb detonated. A bright white light spread. Like a wave dot, the hive world's surface cracked. Towers melted. The queen's scream echoed into space before everything went still. Back on the Phoenix, everyone watched the red planet break apart. Victory. But Ilias looked down, troubled. This wasn't just war. This was a warning, Dax asked. From who? Zara answered. A message was hidden in the hive world's system. Translated, you erase our worlds. But you are too late. The real one is coming elsewhere. A dark arrival in the blackness between galaxies. A ship appeared. No lights, no crew, just a signal older than Earth. Inside it, records of every destroyed human, every erased city, and one final directive. Rebuild Earth. Forget mercy. Bring judgment. A shadow opened its eyes inside the ship and smiled. Space was cold. Dead, forgotten. No light reached this far. No signal escaped. But deep in this darkness, something woke up a ship. Old, massive, silent, not alien, human inside. The forgotten ship, its name was burned onto the hull. Un's Wrath of Earth, abandoned for thousands of years, yet the systems glowed blue again. Engines started humming. Cryopods opened. Humans stepped out. Not like modern humans. These were different, stronger, older, sharper. They were Earth's last guardians, kept in deep sleep for one mission only: revenge, Commander Kaltha. First man outwore black armor with silver veins. Kale, the firstborn of the original Earth. Defense Force, awakened only if Earth was completely destroyed. He stood quietly in front of a large screen. Zara's signal played, the final message from Hive World. You erase our world, but you are too late. The real one is coming. Kale clenched his fist. They think they've won. But we were never truly gone. Message to the Phoenix symbol. The Phoenix, Dax, and Elias received a strange signal. It was human, but ancient Zara decoded it fast. To the surviving forces of Earth, you fought bravely. Now step aside. The Forgotten will finish this. The Phoenix's crew looked shocked. Dax stared at the screen. Who the hell are the Forgotten? Zara replied. They were Earth's final card, sealed before Earth was erased. The Wrath begins to move. Kale stood on the bridge. His crew of awakened soldiers were preparing weapons not seen in millennia. Our targets, every system the Syndicate controls. He pointed at the star. Red markers lit up dozens of alien strongholds. Kale whispered, we will erase them, one planet at a time. Meanwhile, in Syndicate High Command, the Alien Council was meeting in panic. A report had arrived. A human ship, older than our empire, destroyed 4 outposts in less than 1 hour. No survivors, no transmissions. Only one thing left. At each site, a metal flag with Earth's emblem. Burning, Counselor. Virix trembled. How Earth was erased. A dark screen lit up. Kale's face appeared. You erased Earth. Now Earth erases you. Zara's warning back on the Phoenix. Zara ran new scans. The Forgotten have weapons that break time-based shields and nanites that eat through armor. Their ship moves faster than light. But not through any drive, I understand, Elias asked. Are they dangerous to us? Zara paused. They were built for one purpose. If you are not Earth, you are the enemy. Dax's decision, Dax stood in front of the crew. We may have won the last battle, but a new force is here. A human force. One we don't fully control. He looked at the star map. The Forgotten are erasing Syndicate worlds fast. But what happens when they run out of targets? Silence. We need to meet them face to face. The meeting the Phoenix approached the UN's Wrath of Earth. Smaller, slower, no music, no jokes. Just discipline and shadows. Kale stood alone at the end of the corridor. Elias said softly, "You're one of us." Kale shook his head. I was. Now I'm something else. We all are. Can they be stopped? Dax spoke carefully. We respect your mission, but full destruction will only start another war. Kale stepped closer. We don't want war. He pointed to his chest. We want memory, justice, fear. We want every species to remember what happens when you erase Earth, Elias asked. And when that's done, Kale looked toward the stars. Then we disappear again, into the dark. One last chance before leaving, Kale handed Elias a small device. This holds the Earthseed, a full backup of Earth's life, culture, and history. Use it when the galaxy is quiet again, Dax asked. Then you're not Earth anymore. The shuttle left behind them. The Wrath of Earth prepared to jump again. As it vanished, one message echoed across all surviving human colonies. We are the Forgotten. We remember Earth, and we remember who erased it. Then silence. But deep in that silence, planets began to burn. The sky was calm. Alien cities sparkled below. Towers, ships, energy fields, all perfect. Then, without warning, the sky turned red. Not fire, not weather, but a massive human ship, blocking out the stars. The UN's Wrath of Earth had arrived. Panic. Below, Syndicate leaders screamed orders. Defense grids powered up. Planetary shields turned blue dot too late. Kale gave the order. Begin. From the human ship, black drones poured like a flood. Silent, fast, deadly dot. Each one carried ancient human tech weapons built before Earth was erased. They flew straight through the shields. They did not stop inside. The Wrathkale stood tall, armor glowing dot around him. Ancient humans moved with perfect discipline. Zara's voice played on a loop. You erased Earth. Earth will now erase you. He stared at the planet's image on the main screen. One more to go. Phoenix's last hop above the battlefield. Another ship arrived, the Phoenix. Dax stood on the bridge. We can't let this happen. Millions live on Zithran, Elias replied. They're the ones who gave the order to erase Earth. But some are innocent now. Desperate broadcast. Dax sent out a signal. Open frequency. Kale, listen. They erased Earth, but we didn't stay dead. Isn't that the best revenge? Now we live, grow, build again. But if you burn everything, there will be nothing left of Earth but ashes. No reply then. A small light blinked. Kale was listening. Inside Kale's mind, Kale stood silent. Old memories flashed. Mountains, oceans, Earth before the end. Laughter, sunlight, his mother's voice. He whispered, They don't remember us, but we remember everything. His second-in-command stepped forward. Sir, orders. Kale closed. His eyes hold fire. A meeting below. Kale landed on Zitharin's surface, not with weapons, but alone. Dax and Elias met him in the rubble of an alien plaza. Alien civilians watched, hiding in shadows. Dax said, You made your point. They're afraid now. Kale looked around. Not afraid enough, he raised a device, small, glowing red. A world-ending weapon. One click, and this city is gone. The final choice. Elias stepped forward. Kale, please, don't become what they were. You were made to protect Earth. But Earth is more than revenge. It's about hope. Zara's voice came through. Dax has come. He's hesitating. Keep talking. Dax whispered. Earth lives in us now. Let's rebuild, not destroy. Kale's hand shook. The device beeped. Then, silence. He powered it down. You're right. Let Earth live through you. The wrath departs. The wrath of Earth rose into the sky. Kale spoke to all human systems. The forgotten returned to sleep, not in hate, but in memory. Earth was erased once. It will never be forgotten again. The red sky faded. Stars returned years later. The Syndicate no longer ruled. Peace was real. Finally, on a new planet, green and blue, humans rebuilt a city. A statue stood in the center. It showed Earth surrounded by stars. At the base, words were carved. We remember,